Hello, everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everyone doing this evening? Happy and blessed Saturday. Happy and blessed Feast of St. Agnes. And welcome back to episode 407 of the Welcome to Asgard podcast, where tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the Wednesday Raven Awards, as the nominations that are being accepted right now will be closed tomorrow. So if you still want to nominate films, we're still taking in raw nominations in all of the various categories. If you wish to submit your nominations for the best and worst of 2022, please check the pinned comment above for your access to the form. So far, 64 people have filled that out. Interesting that people tend to vote more once the nominees are actually out versus the actual nomination process. But hey, that's just sometimes the way that it goes. And so if you are someone that has saw a few films in the year and you want to give some love to them, please make sure to fill out that form when you can. Again, it's going to be closing tomorrow evening. So that way on Monday, I can collect all of these things together, put them all together into a nice list and ballot. And then we can do on Tuesday for the regular show, we will have the Wednesday Raven Award nominations announced officially. So, with all that out of the way, I was just about to be not on time. Again, I usually start around 59 instead of at 7 p.m. on the dot. However, I recognized that Rumble, for some reason, was not connected correctly. One of the big issues that I have with Rumble is that you have a actual profile, and then you have channels, and I don't quite understand why it works the way that it does. It drives me nuts. But it was streaming to the user name that I have and not to the actual channel, because you have to click it, you have to actually specify it, and it drives me absolutely nuts. But anyway, so we're going to talk about that tonight. We are also going to talk a little bit about the Bob Iger situation, because Bob Iger is back at Disney, of course, as we have known now for a few months, for a little while. And now China is back in the box office picture. That's right. Did not take very long for Bob Iger to be able to work out some deals in order to get Black Panther and Ant-Man set to be released in that country. Interesting that once Bob Iger comes back in, they continue to once again kiss the China ring. And as we all remind ourselves, 25% of the Chinese box office actually goes to the studio, where 75% goes to the CCP, which is the reason why I call out films like Avatar and all of the major Marvel releases and all of the major DC releases and any other major release that does dealings with China, because they're giving that country millions upon millions of dollars. And by country, I don't really mean the people of the country, but the CCP. So anyway, with all of that being out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the chat. Before doing so, make sure you smash the like button, loud the fire button if you're watching on Odyssey, and smash the Rumble button. And again, if you're watching on Rumble, thank you. If you notice that I was live on one part of the channels, but then not on the other, I don't know exactly how to handle that. But before getting into the live chat, we had some early donations. So first off, Low Watermark, thank you very much for the $10 donation the $10 super chat donation. Low Watermark, very much appreciate that, saying, love the opening music. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm very glad. I found that music a few years ago, and it's been the theme song ever since for the better part of almost 4 years now. And yeah, it was the Purple Planet Music, I think was the name of it. It had a royalty-free stuff on it, and ever since then, it's been my theme song. I used to have outro credits, but for some reason, that one, out of all of the songs, ended up actually getting randomly hit with copyright. I guess Purple Planet had either gone under or had sold its rights to someone else. I don't know. But anyway, it just wasn't even worth having the battle, and so I ended up just getting rid of the outro all together, as far as just the outro with music is concerned. And so, but thank you. Yeah, I love the opening music too. Gets me hyped. Hopefully it gets you hyped as well. So thank you very much. And then continuing on Low Watermark, he also donated via Streamlabs donation, $50 via Streamlabs donation. So Low Watermark, dude, thank you so very much for the super chat, for the donation via Streamlabs, because Mama Susan don't get none of that Streamlabs donation. And for that, he just said, Hail Odin. So thank you very much. Hail to you, Low Watermark, and thank you for being here. All right, let's get now into the chat itself. As I mentioned, please make sure that you vote in this year's Wednesday Raven Awards, that you are able to get your nominations in specifically for this year's Wednesday Raven Awards. Again, several categories to choose from. You have Best Movie of the Year you can submit a film for, the Worst Movie of the Year, which we call the Kathleen Kennedy and Ryan Johnson Award for Excellence in Crap World Building, one of my favorite names. Most Overlooked Person, which we call our Lifetime Achievement Award. Best Story for Film, Best Low Budget Film, another one of my favorite categories. Underrated Film, Overrated Film of the Year, Shill of the Year, one that is always very fun to see. There are, now that we've going into year 4 or 5 of this, there are several people that have been nominated several times, so it's always very fun to see the people that get nominated and to talk about, how at the Oscars every single year they always say, this person has been nominated 5 times without a victory. So it's just, again, it's a lot of fun, and also one this year that I think might actually create some interesting nominations is Most Iconic Film. Right, it's the film that I think, that you think, as you're nominating, that you think will be remembered for years to come, because there's some films this year that I think may not be the best film or may not even be your favorite film, but I think people would have to recognize as being iconic. Like, obviously, people probably have Top Gun Maverick as being one of those films on their list, but I mean, I've actually, in my own head, I've actually thought about it, and I said, part of me almost feels compelled to pick a film like What is a Woman? Because I honestly think that is one of the most important films to come out over the last decade. A film that obviously will be remembered for years to come, and also was so important when talking about all of the gender ideology nonsense, So, I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot of different films that could fall into that. By the way, Tina B, I see you in the live chat. I don't know how long you're going to be able to hang around for, so I wanted to make sure to shout you out. Every single stream, we've been praying for you, and people have been showing love. And again, she's probably typing this out, but she really can't see all that much as far as the tiny text is concerned. But hopefully you can hear my voice, and just know that people love you. Everyone is saying to stay positive. Everyone is saying that they love you. And yes, so again, I'll get to those chats in just a second. So we got Nearsighted Cyclops in the chat. Hail to you. Thanks for being here. Orange Eye Reviews says that he submitted his on Tuesday. Well, thank you very much, good sir. I appreciate it. Jay Roar, what's going on? Hail to you. Sherry Allen in the chat as well. Sandy going to put their nominations in. By the way, Orange Eye Reviews, congratulations on receiving The Wrench. Orange Eye Reviews is now officially a mod on the channel, since Tina B, of course, is recovering. And again, praying for you, Tina. And thank you so very much for continuing to just to be awesome and positive and keeping us updated in the Discord server. You're awesome. And also shout out to 70B. We announced this last time, but 70B had told that she would not be able to continue on as a Valkyrie, continue to mod the channel because she has work now on Saturdays, and obviously that comes first. Life and career, all that stuff, right? We all recognize family comes first before anything else. It's God, family, and then of course job, work. So with that, needing a little bit of extra help again when Laura, the modded major general of the channel, who's also here in the chat, any times that maybe she can't be on or she needs to leave or anything, I think it's good just to have some extra help, some extra hands. So there might be 1 or 2 other people that I might be able to mod as well, just to be able to be on the safe side on that front. Gary Banjo Sandwich Worthington, thank you very much for tagging, good sir. And again, if you have a comment or question, please put @Odin at the very beginning of your comment, @Odin. It lets me know that you're trying to get my attention. And Gary Banjo Sandwich says, can't stay up late. Got a time lapse to make for Chinese New Year 2023 Liverpool. Midday, dropping a like. Well, thank you, Gary Banjo Sandwich, for stopping by, good sir. Hello to all, says Bruce, dropping also the little snail emote. So, boom, there it is. These little emotes, as silly as they are, it's probably one of the few positive things that YouTube has actually done. There's not a lot of kind things that I or others could say about YouTube. I would say that the best thing they have done are put these little weird emote creatures in there. So, anyway, again, Orange Chat, thank you very much for putting that. So yeah, if you indeed could please smash the like button, live fire button on Aussie, smash the rumble button as well. And yeah, also make sure you don't spam, be respectful of each other. in the comments section as well. We are a family-friendly channel here. And yeah, put at the very beginning of your comment if you want to get my attention and have your comment or question read. All right, there is the first Tina B comment. Says, I don't know how well the voice text is going to work, and I can't see any of your replies or comments anyway, so I'll just wish you a very good evening. Again, thank you very much, Tina, for that. I know from talking to her that Stephanie B is no longer Marty because of her personal schedule, but I sent the best from her. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, again, because of her schedule. We did talk about that last stream, so thank you for sending those well wishes, and of course send our well wishes to Stephanie, of course, as well. G-Mega76, welcome back. Thank you very much for being here. There is the Modern Major General of the channel. Thank you very much for being here. Only Bow to God, welcome back. Glad to see you back into the channel. Tina then said, I saw that someone, I think, texted my name, but it's all blur. I just saw my name. Hi, White. Sorry, I can't read anything. Yeah, so again, if anyone is trying to comment, again, I think that she's about to head out, but for anyone who was trying to comment or text, this also extends to the Discord server too. Please just know that, again, she really can't see as far as like the actual text or reactions are concerned. Part of me is like, I wish that Discord or these other places had the ability to like make giant text so that way people could see all the positive things that are being said. But just know, Tina, before you head out, you are loved. And you are receiving tons of love in the chat right now. So again, Tina, we are praying for you. Please, please, please continue in your recovery. All right, let's see. Fox, what is going on? Thank you for being here. It is the feast of St. Agnes, who is a martyr, which is why we are rocking the red lighting. Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father. Just popping on. I only have 11 more hours to go. Yeah, absolutely, Father. Thank you again for representing the March for Life this year. I've actually never been to the DC March for Life. We have one set for our area next weekend. It's the second time that we've actually done it. And I actually kind of, I'm going to be interested to hear, and I hope that you do maybe like kind of a video breakdown for your channel of what it was like this year, because obviously with the Jackson, the obviously Jackson decision, there is now just a new battle, right? There's a new war. There's a new, there's a new focus in the battle for life. So I'd just be interested to hear what the like sentiment on the ground was, numbers being the same, like it would kind of focus of the speakers. Would be very interested to hear that. Master of Gaming, what's going on? Luke Zilla, welcome. Hail to you. Yeah, Father. Yeah, that's one thing. It's amazing that a multi-billion-dollar corporation, right, which is YouTube, that something as simple as getting people to be able to tag on phones, you would think that they'd be able to do that, but for some reason they can't. Tina went on and said, anyway, I'm not going to stay on since I can't read anything the same. Like I said, I hope the voice attack works. I'm hanging in there, trying to keep my brain occupied. Hey, again, you are absolutely doing very, very well. Super says, what is up, my dude? What's up, Super Anime Gamer? Joey Horn, good evening to you. Lance Mala says, good evening. Watch anything wrestling related? I've been falling behind. I'm like about a week or so behind on AEW, but I've been watching AEW Dynamite specifically. I haven't been able to keep up with the rampages. There's just been too much stuff going on, but yeah. Tina says, I'm going to nominate one of the worst directors of all time for Lifetime Achievement Award. Be sure to put your vote in for Neil Breen. He's absolutely terrible. So why would you want him to get the Lifetime Achievement Award? Hopefully you're gone now at this point, because I know that you were trying to leave, and obviously people were talking to you and stuff, but why would you want to put one of the worst? But hey, people can nominate who they want to nominate. That's what's always amazing. Like when the nominations actually get out, when we actually have our list of nominees, when people say like, why did this person get nominated or why this did, it's like, well, if you wanted it to be different, then you should have put your voice in. I mean, it's been open for a couple weeks now. I've tried to always, I've tried to post it as often as I can on all the socials. But I can only do so much. That's why I put it into y'all's amazing hands. And I can say putting together some of the lists early just to kind of get an early reaction, because there's some categories where I think even anyone who just has any just logical capacity is going to know that there's going to be certain films that are just going to get a certain amount of nominations in order to be able to be a nominee. I'm not really... I think I'm not really spoiling much of anything, but I guess I'll give y'all a bit of an insider scoop here. Top Gun Maverick will be nominated for several categories this year. It's and that's not really much of a spoiler or anything. But there are some other categories where, because the nominations drop off a little bit, and the numbers for certain films and the spread on certain films and certain people, I honestly don't know. Speaking of the Lifetime Achievement, I don't know what I'm going to do with that category, because everyone's nominations are so all over the place that, there's not a lot of people that have even more than one nomination. So that might be one where it might actually be more than 5 nominees, because there are people that have gotten more than one nomination. So it might just be I include anyone with more than one, unless there is a separation in the pack, right? There has been an extra 10 nominees since the last time I really looked at the actual data. But that's one of the categories where I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm sure there'll be other categories down the line that will be the same. Jonah Wingster says, Avatar 2 is nominated for all categories. Chancellor Odin, I love democracy. Yeah, and it's amazing. The people who have been so critical of me for my thoughts and commentary on Avatar 2, I haven't really seen them put their money where their mouth is, even though it doesn't cost you a dime to fill out the nomination form. But apparently they would rather spend the time, putting disparaging comments and trolling and all that other thing than, trying to, which I think would even be a bigger troll, to try to impact some of the nominations for the Raven Awards. Really hasn't happened in the same way that I would have thought. So, Abomination is now over on Odyssey. By the way, it looks like I can indeed make someone a moderator. Boom! There we go. So, Abomination, since you're always here, good sir, you are now a moderator. I don't know what that allows you to do on Odyssey, but hey, there was one person I had to block at the very beginning because they put just an incredibly inappropriate comment. So, anyway, congratulations. We got Raffles 7892 hanging out over on Rumble. Hail to you. Thank you very much for being here. And I don't know how to mod people on Rumble. I don't have the option show up for me. So I'll have to figure that out at some point. But Gus, what is going on? Hail to you. What's going on, Gus? Thank you for being here. It says, Sup, Football America. That's all that it said. So I only bought a God to say, are you excited about John Wick 4? Yes, probably my most anticipated film of the year. And I know I've said it already, but I am going to make my best of 2022 list. I am going to make my worst of 2022 list. I'm going to make my box office breakdown for 2022 list and also my most anticipated list. But obviously, as you all know, with school and especially now with a toddler, timing and being able to be in the right headspace to be able to do those videos, it's just not as easy as it once was. So by the way, someone just submitted another response. I saw the number go up. But I will be doing those at some point. And also, as I mentioned, one of the things holding up my best of list is because I really would like to see Whale. But still have not had the chance to do so. Tina says, I think I'm going to be listening to Dragnet on the radio. I'm in the level of big kidnapping case on the show. Don't want to miss it. Nice. Very, very cool. Tina that says, now vote for Neil Breen for Lifetime Achievement. You won't be sorry. You all take care of yourselves. And if you want dirt on Disney, I already know why. Oh, well, there you go. Abomination over on Odyssey Tag to say, oh, thank you. The world trembles in fear for the Pandora's box you just opened. Well, it is as long as you don't abuse it. As long as you don't abuse it. Ambrose Chamberpot, what's going on? Someone typing my name in caps. Sorry, can't see clearly. Vision very low. Yeah, again, for those that were trying to talk to Tina, again, can't really see those. Sir Lanzalato, what is going on? It's been a while. Glad to see you in the chat. Forever Sci-Fi, hail to you. Brian Barth, have I ever seen Patton? I've actually not. It's definitely on my interesting list. Tina continuing to try to, what's the word I'm looking for? So, to lobby, when lobbyists are trying to get people to vote a certain way. She's lobbying very hard for Neil Breen for Lifetime Achievement. I would I wouldn't say so, but hey, there it is. All right. I think that she was trying to get out, so I think I'll just try and skim over the comments just to make sure there's nothing else in there. Let's see. There we go. Tina says, Laura, I will leave everything in your capable hands. I hope it won't be long until I come back and join you full-time basis as usual. Boom. Absolutely, Tina. Absolutely, for sure. Only About a God says, walk with Christ. Y'all need to vanish. I'll keep you in my prayers. Hey, absolutely. Only About a God. Thank you again very much. You're awesome. All right. Let us see. Thank you very much for the salute there, General. Mother Major General. Soul Assassin didn't know that, Steph. Wish her the best. Yeah, we mentioned it in the last stream, so I think some people may have missed that. But for those that did miss it, yeah, Stephanie B is no longer going to be an active mod on the channel. And again, it's because she has work to do. She has a job, and as I always say, as you all know that I always say, family always, comes first. So that's why I will cancel a stream, delay a stream when things are like that. Anytime family's over or anything like that is going on. And ultimately it's God, family, and then also job, right? So if there's something I have to do for my full-time job, that's gonna take precedent. I love Asgard, and I love my Asgardian community, and I love having fun with YouTube, but it is not my full-time job. So for those that do hang out and do have fun, I appreciate y'all. Let us see. Let's see. Tina says, just know I love you all. I think the best about me through all. Yeah, absolutely. We, again, have your back. We have your back. Orange Heimdall reviews. Oh, man. No, I won't call you that, because then people will get confused with the bot Heimdall. The Old Guard, what's going on? Thanks for being a member on the channel. Master Gaming, do you think Bob Iger will release the Little Mermaid live-action remake in China? I think he'll try to. Again, I think that at this point, it's pretty clear that when Bob Iger is in charge of Disney, because we saw this throughout the entirety, really, of his original run in charge of Disney, that they're willing to make deals. They're willing to change films. They're willing to give a CCP, a Communist Party approved cut of any of their films. For any film to play in China, it has to go through their censors. And so if any film plays there, that means things are going to get cut. Things are going to get changed. So I absolutely think that is something that really does need to, continue to be talked about, and we'll probably jump into that just a little bit later on. Let's see, Kimberly G, what's going on? Welcome back. Glad to have you over here. And again, no matter what platform you're watching on, just please put @Odin at the very beginning of your comment, and lets me know you're trying to get my attention, and then that way I can highlight it if you're on YouTube and read it if you're on the other platforms. Kimberly G, no, don't do it. You are the chosen one. No. She's voting for Neil Breen. Laura says, I don't know why I didn't think about What Is a Woman for the Ravens. I know, right? That was one that was just popping into my head as I was thinking about the nominations, because I have the form up, and I might actually fill mine out live. I know that was an idea that was floated by Laura, so I might actually fill mine out live. But I'm still, thinking about it. But that was one that was coming into my mind, because I was like, okay, Top Gun Maverick, I think, is going to get a lot of love in a lot of categories. But when I do think of films like What Is a Woman, right, regardless of what anyone thinks about the whole Daily Wire thing, we're not really going to talk about that tonight. If you want to hear my thoughts about the whole Daily Wire Crowder thing, check out the Salty Nerd Podcast YouTube channel. We did our Saturday, the Saturday morning. I was once again invited to do the Salty Saturdays that we do every Saturday, and it's just a ton of fun. And we spend a good hour or so on that topic, and I make very clear what I personally think. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, check that out. And obviously, I mentioned some of my thoughts on Friday Night Sights last night too. But I have a lot more time to really just break down my thoughts and why I came to the conclusions that I did over there. So shout out to the Salty Nerd Podcast, of course, and for always having me on that channel. Let's see. Father says, I'm going to try to do a March video. I'll just say good numbers, maybe down 10%. That's actually really, really good. Especially, again, with the fact that I could see how a lot of people would say, why should we have to, keep on marching if the main thing that we were trying to fight for is done. Again, the fact that, even just 90% or so, or just a high percentage of people recognize that the battle is not just about what the Supreme Court says, but about what's actually going on, Laura, thank you for posting the link to that stream from earlier. It was a lot of fun. Abomination tagged to say, he will try, yes, but I don't know how much self-censoring Iger can do. It's not like Ariel wears a mask for them to put on the posters or anything. I guess they can shrink Ariel on the poster like they did Finn. Who knows what they're going to be? Who knows what they're going to do? Who knows what things? Because that's the other thing too. It's like there's obviously other deals behind the scenes. I would actually, I doubt it's Freedom of Information Act worthy because it's not, it's a private company making deals. But I would love to see whatever deal and whatever contract Disney has with China. I would actually really like to know, okay, we already know, right? It's already pretty well known in the industry about the 75-25% split of box office revenue. But are there other things, right? Other than, of course, having it approved by the censors, but are there other things that are a part of this deal? Are there other things that are being brought into this? It's a big question that I think needs to be answered. Soul's Ass says, Neil Breen is cinematic treasure. His films are comedic gold. Forever Sci-Fi, keep nominating Jeremy for Show of the Year. Yeah, Forever Sci-Fi is on that. He has been lobbying for Jeremy Griggs of Geeks and Gamers to be nominated for Show of the Year. Great woo to what's going on. Hail to you. Bruce is laughing at Tina being a Raven Awards troll. I appreciate it though. It's fun. Again, that's what all this is about, right? It's all about having fun. Orange Chat says, darn right. TGM Taco Maverick will be multiple nominations. That movie was pure entertainment. Absolutely. And that's why, as I said, for anyone who hasn't voted yet, who's going to have that is as like your best movie of the year or other categories like it, I would say maybe think of other films for maybe films like most iconic, right? Because it's going to be iconic. It's going to be something that you're going to remember, right? But are there other films, right? It's good to think outside of the box. It's not like the whole, the concept of, the Oscar voters, sometimes they want to spread the wealth around. It's like, well, I just think that there's just so many good films that we just forgot came out and that's why I love categories like the best low budget film, because then you can't vote for those films that cost a lot of money and obviously got a lot of attention and everything like that. You actually do get to show appreciation for those films that cost a lot less money, but were also still really, really good. Forever Sci-Fi says, I nominated Beavis and Butthead for Animated Movie of the Year. That white privilege moment was one of the funniest scenes I've seen all year. Interesting. Laura says, for Lifetime Achievement, you could always use a lottery to narrow the field. Yeah, I've thought of, I mean, it's something where I either will have multiple nominations, like just more than 5, depending on, it really just depends on what the final breakdown is, right? Because obviously there's still time, right? It's going to end tomorrow evening. By evening, I mean probably somewhere around, somewhere between 7 and 10 p.m. Eastern is when I'm going to just, cut off the taking and accepting of responses. And then I'm not actually going to break through any of the data probably until Monday so that I can get all of that stuff ready for Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, if it's so evenly split that it's in just, it becomes ridiculous where it's like 12 people who have 2 nominations each or something like that, then yeah, I might have to just do a random lottery. Like basically how I choose winners in the giveaways section for anyone who is a Keeper of the Bifrost level member on the Discord, when I do the random, I use it's called like the wheel of names. And so literally I put people's names who have said, hey, I want to enter in for this giveaway, spin it. And that might just be the way I have to do it to try and keep it fair. And, usually there are categories too where, I am the person who is hosting, obviously. And so there might be a situation where there might be like 4 movies that get nominated, and I like having 5 usually in each category. So it might be like, oh, I think I'll just, use my executive authority to add 1 extra one in there because, ultimately that doesn't make much, when it comes to the actual winners, there usually there's usually not that kind of situation. I think it was last year or 2 years ago, we had a very close tie, and it was kind of crazy But luckily, I don't ever have to worry about that in the future. Hammond Burger said, did you ever see the movie The Outfit? It was great. Yes, I did. Shout out once again to Laura, to Shorty Short, the Modern Major General, because she sent that one to me. And she was like, I love this film, and I think you would like it too, and I want you to see it. And I did, and I really liked it. That's another one of these just really well-done little gems. Andrew Redday, what's going on, Andrew? Says, good day, just wanting to know your thoughts on the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey trailer. I haven't seen it yet, but the concept alone has me intrigued. It's one of those things where it's like, do I want to see Winnie the Pooh, a childhood character, involved in a horror film with blood and guts and stuff? No, but I have to give kudos where kudos are due. I mean, think about it. Like, the copyright goes away. Right, the copyright over that property. Was it a Disney that let that just expire? So I have to just appreciate. I just have to be able to appreciate the fact that they picked that up and then came up with some, innovative idea. I don't know. Souls asked Brandon Fraser for comeback of the year. Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to get a lot of nods for breakout star. We do like a breakout. That's one of the categories that we have. Is breakthrough performance of the year. I think Brendan Fraser is going to get a lot of love for sure. Let's see. First Half says, I couldn't be a mod. I'd abuse the power just on principle. I want to see what would happen if you banished everyone from a stream. Oh yeah, please don't ever. Okay, I'll have to make a note of that. Please don't ever mod Forever Sci-Fi, because he will just want to, set the world ablaze and see how much, fire he can create. Luke Zilla. Let's see. Tag to say, haven't been watching these last few streams because I've been on recovery mode after arm surgery. All is well. Well, happy to hear all is well now. Happy to hear you're recovering. Rob D says, hello, Odin. YouTube was giving me issues signing in. Oh, no. I'm sorry to hear that. Physics Channel. Hope you're having a good night. Hope you're having a good night as well. I nominate the worst TV show, says Mark Oquist. We don't do TV. Because then the categories would just be absolutely insane. So in order to keep the categories at a reasonable amount, and focus more so on TV. Sorry, we focus the Ravens on movies mostly, and then there are categories that include cultural commentators, which include mostly like movie commentators for Shill of the Year, NPC of the Year, things like that. But that's about as far removed from film that we get, because it is meant to be a boycott of the Oscars, so there has to be some crossover, but we have fun categories that are much better than what the Oscars have. Master Gaming says, I was going to put forth Thor, Love, and Thunder in the Kathleen Kennedy Ryan Johnson Award, but I chose Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness instead. Well, I will say you could probably expect those two to both get a lot of nominations. Hamilton Berger says, Iger will release Black Little Mermaid in China, with the minor compromise being that it will be... That's not going to happen. I mean, they're going to give an edit, but that's going to be the furthest thing that they do. Gus says, did you watch Shad's most current video on the situation? No, I have not. I know that he did like a full breakdown of it, but I'm pretty set on my... And really, again, I don't want to go into that as much because... I feel like I've already said a lot about it on another stream. And again, I would just encourage everyone to check out the Salty morning stream I did earlier on the Salty Nerd Podcast channel. But I think time ultimately will be what will tell us who was, not even who was right and who was wrong, because I think both are in the wrong in different ways. But I think to know fully the impact and to know fully like all the different factors that were going on. Let's see. Forever Sci-Fi says, if Disney does play Little Mermaid in China, they'll probably put the brightness on full. That, I would say, would be much more likely. Or at the very least, the poster. Harvey says, CBS is showing trailers for the new TV series True Lies, Jamie Lee Curtis role. All right, well, we're not really focused on that tonight, but Sandy, what's going on? Thank you again, Laura, for posting that link. Just another red shirt. Hail to you. Matt R is in the chat. Yes, absolutely. Orange Hat says, my thoughts on the drama. I will quote my favorite Destroyer God. I'm not here to take sides. Yeah, it's a good place to be. Rob D says, I could see Jeremy making a video for winning Shill of the Year. This is what John Campea wishes he could win. Yeah, especially if if I were to tell him, one, if he did get nominated, and then two, if I told him, oh, by the way, John Campea has been nominated like X amount of years and has, I don't even really remember. I don't know if he's actually won or not. Let me see if I can pull up last year's Raven Awards to see Shill of the Year, because he's almost always been nominated. Yeah, he was nominated last year. He did not win. Last year, Kevin Smith won. So that was awesome. I think I need to find the sheets, because there are sheets that I made for my own viewing that actually broke down the number of nominations that someone ever received. Yeah, so he got nominated the previous year as well, and Kathleen Kennedy won. That was for the year 2020. So I'll have to go back. I'll have to go back and see if I can find if I can find the ones that have the breakdown of the number of nominations in this category, because I'm pretty sure he's been nominated every year, and I don't know, and I don't remember if he's ever won. It'd be hilarious if that's the case. Forever Sci-Fi says, I tried not to nominate Top Gun because I figured it was already one getting in. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty it's a pretty smart strategy there. It's a pretty smart strategy. Bruce says, all my votes went to Top Gun 2 and not available. Yeah, and again, I know a lot of people were not able to see a lot of films this year, and so I understand that and respect it. That's why for the actual ballot, I do put the abstain option for people that just want to support the films that they like and don't have a dog in a fight in some of their categories. Anyway, just got this. So my older brother who likes to talk politics with me, apparently, so the DOJ apparently has seized more classified documents from Biden after a 12-hour search. Okay, so his house has been raided? Is that what's going on? Is there finally been a raid, or was it just a general search? Oh my goodness, what a dumpster fire. Anyway, Bruce says some went to Avatar 2. How dare you, Bruce? Unless it's the ones that I want it to be. I'm kidding. Vote with your heart. Soul Assassin. Some mods just want to watch the stream burn. Exactly. Steve Marvin, what's going on? Orange Hat says, I remember when Bob Iger was reported to come back as CEO and everyone thought it was a good thing. You don't cure cancer by putting cancer back in the body. Bob Iger is cancer. Well, here's the thing. It depends on what you mean by that they thought it was going to be good, right? If people thought it was going to be good because somehow it was going to result in better movies, then I would say, I don't know what in the world you're talking about. I would say that's a bit silly. By the way, apparently Megan, the latest film, has been greenlit to have a sequel, Megan 2.0, and it will get released in 2025. That is quite interesting. Also, Avatar 2, of course, to no one's surprise, is on the way to $2 billion once the numbers actually update. All right, let's go ahead then and dive into this story here, and then the rest of the time we will spend on the Raven Awards. So this is obviously, so again, thank you for bringing this up, Orange Chat. So as you can see here from Deadline, China, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania secure February release dates, first Marvel movies in the market since 2019. Yes, since 2019. So it's interesting to me just to think about when he left and what happened with the relationship with China, and then when he comes back and what happened, right? It's been a long time coming, but it looks like China's unofficial ban on Marvel is lifting. Disney's Black Panther and Ant-Man have both secured release dates in China, ending a 3.5-year period during which movies featuring Marvel characters did not gain entry to the world's second largest box office market. Marvel posted the news to its Weibo account. Check out the new Chinese posters for each of the films. I will also point this fact out because it also makes me remind me of this. It talks about specifically Marvel characters. This needs to be reminded to every person. Top Gun Maverick this year, 1.4, almost 1.5 billion without China. You go back to Spider-Man No Way Home 2021, 1.9 billion not needing China. So it's already been made very apparent and clear that Hollywood can make a ton of money, net profits on these movies without China. And so the fact that they're doing this is just so infuriating because it's not needed. And when you remind yourself that, oh, well, maybe they're doing it because they want to get all that money. But again, $200 million in China, you only keep 75%. You only keep 75% of that money. Sorry, I misspoke. You only keep 25%. The CCP keeps 75% of that money. So you're talking there about you get $50 million from 200. So $200 million is what the film makes, and you as a studio only get $50 million of that. So you get a terrible return on investment, but maybe their mindset is, but the overall box office, the international box office, right, the worldwide, that number does not include all of the different cuts and takes. So is it that important for them to get that extra $100 or $200 million in their overall? Like that's what the most infuriating thing is, because look to Avatar. Avatar, without that movie, is still a $2 billion success. Even though the film hasn't even reached $2 billion yet, it's going to. It's going to end somewhere between 2 and 2.5 is what I think. And so I think that even without the $200 million it's made in China, it still would have made over $2 billion. And that, again, that's what drives me nuts. That's what drives me crazy about all of this. And it's what is so infuriating about it. This says Black Panther 2 was originally released elsewhere on November 22nd and will debut there. What is it going to do? How much money is it even going to make? I mean, that film, as it says, was released in November. It's going to be on streaming in many markets, I believe. So, okay. And I don't remember the first film doing too well there in comparison to others. I could be wrong on that. And then Ant-Man 3, okay, it might do okay, but it's not going to do Avatar level numbers. I mean, it's ridiculous. It says, in doing so, they become the first title feature Marvel characters in China since Sony Marvel's Spider-Man Far From Home in June of 2019 and Avengers Endgame earlier the same year. And by the way, I'm going to call out Sony because Sony is the distributor and has 75% stake in the partnerships that they do. So when they decided to release and were able to release their film Far From Home in China, screw you, Sony. But hey, at least No Way Home did not get a China release, and guess what? Didn't need it. This is a very significant turn of events, which may signal a shift in China's stance on the mega brand. We understand that this has been in the works for some time. Yeah, with Bob Iger. The Chinese box office was down an estimated 36% last year, reaching $4.3 billion, with only a few Hollywood films gaining entry. When 20th Century Studios' Avatar: The Way of Water was granted a day-and-date release in December, it was the first studio movie to receive a prime spot in a long while. Though it got off to a slow start amid China ceasing its zero-COVID policy and concerns from the public about venturing out, it picked up speed and has now grossed $220 million. That is the other thing. They had that zero-COVID policy going forever. When did they finally lift it? The week before Avatar gets released. I'm not one for conspiracies. You all know, typically I shy away from that kind of stuff. But something doesn't smell right with that. It's like, wait, you as a government, as an authoritarian regime, have everyone locked down, but then a movie comes along that is going to get you millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Again, the breakdown is about, right at this point, over $150 million because of Avatar is going into the coffers of the Communist Party. And that's just from the movie. Are there other deals? James Cameron talked about how the technology used for the movie, or at the very least for the showing of the film, either the showing of the film or behind the film, was developed in China, by China. So are they getting a cut from that too? Were there other deals that were being made in that process? Because I'll always call out these nonsense things. As we've previously reported, now that the 20th National Congress of the Chinese Communist Party, yeah, give me a break about that Congress, as well as 2021's 100th anniversary of the party are out of the way, we hear there's less fear within government agencies. This was a big issue. No one wanted to make decisions and be seen as doing anything wrong at a time of geopolitical uncertainty and uncertainty within China. The Marvel issue seemed to stem from cultural and political sensitivities. Oh, yeah. Like the Communist Party was afraid of losing power? Please. Unless it was a military coup, in which case the same people are just in charge. I mean, get out of here. Ant-Man sequel, Ant-Man the Wasp, grossed $121 million in China in 2018. Black Panther did $105 million. So, as I said, they're not going to do Avatar numbers in China. And it's going to be interesting to see where Ant-Man 3 ends up there. But remember, Disney's only going to get a certain percentage from that. And here apparently are the new posters. So, as you can see, not really a whole lot of difference here for the new Chinese poster for Black Panther. And then for Quantumania, villain's pretty big. Kang, the character of Kang, pretty big there. Obviously, they are an ethno state, and they are notorious for showing signs of their racist mentalities. But, oh, my goodness gracious. Crazy, crazy stuff. Someone else had mentioned in my comment section on another video about Eternals being a reason as to why it wouldn't have been there. But they, again, forgot Black Widow, Spider-Man No Way Home all got released prior to those other films. So, or at the very least, again, in different circumstances. So either way, I think, to me, this raises questions about, okay, what kind of relationship does Bob Iger have with China? And ultimately, what is this going to lead to in the long run? So anyway, that's where we are on that story. So let's go ahead and get back into the chat. We over on Odyssey said, "Which do you think of this? What do you think of the sequel of Megan being based on the amusing PG-13 version or original horror-based rated R film? What do you think it's going to be?" So I have not seen either version of it. My guess would be that since the rated R version is, I assume the rated R version is the original director's cut. So therefore, any sequel is going to be based off of that. And I would not be surprised if they did the same thing again for that. Abomination said, "I haven't seen Megan 1 or 2, but now there's going to be... I have not seen M1gen or M2gen, but now there's going to be an M4gen. Oh, I see what you did there. Silly, silly, silly man. All right, let me go back into the comments. King Kane Rumsky is hanging out over on Rumble. What's going on? Thank you for tagging. He says, "In what year do you predict AI will replace actors?" Do you mean in part or completely? In part, I could see within the next 10 years. Completely, probably 20. But I know very little about AI technology and its advancements. So it is what it is. All right. Any other tags over there? Let's see. King and Rumsky tags say, "My Christmas tree is still up and lights are on right now. Any problem with that?" No, because Christmas does not officially end until February 2nd with the Feast of the Purification of Our Lady, Candlemas. So you absolutely can keep your Christmas decorations up. February 2nd is traditionally the day that you take it down. So, all right. Let's see. Keely Shao tagged to say, "How are you doing?" "I'm doing fine. Wife's doing fine. Baby Thor doing fine as well." The only good thing about the Oscars is that World Class BS's Oscars drunk watch stream. I would say the other thing is the Wednesday Raven Awards. Don't forget, we have the Wednesday Raven Awards going on when the Oscars are on. We don't go for the entire time because we, unlike the Oscars, do care about people's time and try not to, waste people's time with nonsense in between awards and victories and the speeches and all that other nonsense. So we'll do about a 90-minute show. Sometimes I think we try to do maybe a max 2.5 hour show. We definitely don't go all the way through the entire Oscars because Lord, that show's already long enough. But yeah, I would say the Ravens are the thing to look forward to. Hamilton Burger says, I support an Emmy boycott show. It should be named after some bird that is like a raven, but far less popular. I don't think I would be able to just mentally handle that. The ravens already require a lot. Laura says, Campia can't win a raven because he is a loser. Boom. Her sci-fi. Shouldn't Campia and Grace Randolph just automatically be nominated? I mean, they usually are. I don't have the time to go back right now, but I'm pretty sure that both of them have either always been nominated, or at the very least in most years are nominated. Yep, Orange Hat. That's, again, my brother sent me an article, and I had gotten a notification earlier but couldn't read it. But I could read the headline on the article my brother sent. Yeah, apparently there actually was a search done by the DOJ, and apparently 12 hours, and there were more documents. Bruce says, it is the ones you'd be happy with, Avatar 2. Oh, well, thank you, Bruce. That makes me very, very happy. Very sci-fi. Campia should get nominated every year, but never win. It's the cost of shilling, right? You get recognized for your shilling, but you never win because you don't deserve to have any type of victory. Victor Fontaine, what is going on? Cap Strong says, Rumble just spazzed out. So yeah, the spazzing out would have been that I was on the wrong channel. Again, Rumble has this weird thing when you set up a live stream that you have your profile, but that's not the same as your channel. I wish I could just delete the Odin's Movie Blog one and just have the OMB Reviews one, but I don't know what. Again, Rumble's weird. So I canceled that one and then started the one up on OMB Reviews. So there is now a stream live on Rumble. It's just under OMB Reviews instead. Elizabeth Lyons, what's going on? Thank you for being here. Rob D says 2019 box office will be what Disney, the movie theater industry, the film industry, and moviegoers will never see ever again in their lives. Don't say that. I would say if you mean that they won't be as successful, I would say be careful with that, because remember, and this word causes some triggers to be triggered. So trigger warning for some. But there's a little thing called inflation. So I think that we will see numbers again like that. However, the numbers will mean something very different. Just like I've been saying, I think that you are still to this day seeing ticket sales being far less than what they were, right? But yeah, I think that if you're looking at the actual number, like the actual total amount made, you will at some point see it again, but it's going to be because of inflation. Here in the Steadfast, what is going on? Welcome back. Master of Gaming, I have not seen Babylon yet. I've heard so many bad things from so many different people that it's not been on the top of my list right now. The film I want to see next is The Whale. General Winkster, oh, I see. When it comes to Iger, you'll talk about China all day. Yet Avatar 2 isn't even a flutter in the wind. I know, right? How dare I? You know, you're talking about Bob Iger. You're talking about Marvel. You don't talk about Avatar. When I was seeing those comments, I was like, okay, these are people that have not actually watched my videos. It's always great to be able to expose those people. It's like, okay, you don't watch my stuff, clearly, so just go away. And the word's the critical drinker. Go away now. Go away now. Orange Hat says, the last few years have shown the world that the Chinese box office isn't needed for billion-dollar blockbusters to be made. Absolutely. And I think one of the most impressive ones was Joker. I mean, a much smaller budget, rated R movie, making over $1 billion without China. That is one of the most impressive feats. Super says, ton of money is not the most money. And Hollywood is devoid of principle. It's about relationships. And I'm sure China was ecstatic because they're allegedly facing economic collapse. Oh, yeah. Again, you have just seen Disney essentially give $125 million. No, sorry. More than that at this point. $150+ million to the Chinese Communist Party with Avatar alone. And I mean, if you bring up Endgame from years ago, think about all the money that they made from that movie. Again, they get 75% of that cut. Yeah, Elizabeth Lyons, absolutely. Absolutely. I still want to see it as well. It's one of my most anticipated that I still really need to see. Elizabeth Lyon says, I'm still excited for Cocaine Bear. That's my birthday weekend. Yeah, I mean, I am too. Obviously, Elizabeth Banks as the director has me concerned, but the one caveat that I think could save it is the fact that she didn't write it. And interestingly enough, a man wrote it. So the premise is interesting enough for me to maybe check it out, but Jeremiah Fair says, how much do you think Transformers will make? I don't think 1 billion, but who knows what garbage the international audience will eat up. Well, that's the thing. The international audience has almost always eaten up the Terminator. Has almost always eaten up the Transformers movies. So even though they were becoming less and less return on their investment, I mean, if they're able to have effective marketing and are able to kind of pitch it as a relaunch, you could absolutely still get a ton of money in that. But honestly, I have not looked that much into anything going on as far as Transformers, because those movies just don't interest me. Elizabeth Lyon says, did they find Julian Sands? I don't know. Jeremiah Ferris says, do you think Ant-Man will make more than Thor: Love and Thunder? I personally think it will if it's good. It's going to be tough. I'm going to do a box office breakdown video tomorrow, but I am going to be doing a long-term forecasting because Box Office Pro does have early numbers out for what they think the final domestic for that movie will be. And it looks like it's going to be very, very similar to other Ant-Man films. And those don't tend to do nearly as well as some of the others. So could it? Yes. Will it? It's Ant-Man. I don't think it has nearly as much stake necessarily. So, yes, indeed, Cannabis. Absolutely. So the Lion says, I haven't watched the Oscars in over a decade. Yeah, it's been about that time for me too. And again, I used to be one of those persons. Maybe you've heard the site goldderby.com. I used to be on goldderby.com, putting in my own nominations, looking at them and following their trends and everything like that, following SAG, following the DGA, the PGA, and all these other, award shows, knowing all the stats too. Some of them still stick with me. It's almost impossible. I think there was finally an exception made. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Where if you don't get an editing nomination, the chances of you winning Best Picture are almost slim to none. But it's, again, some of those things still stick in my brain. But all of that stuff, means absolutely nothing at this point because of how incredibly ideological they have become. It's just awful. Laura says, someone on Twitter said the documents were from Biden's time as a senator. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Oh, my goodness. That is just, ugh. Jeremiah Fair. Well, the nominations right now, the same as the official votes of who wins. I'm going to fill it out after the stream on the Wednesday Raven Awards based on Adam's Family. Okay, so basically, yeah. So the categories are going to be the same. So the only thing that you're doing right now and that other people are doing right now is you are submitting nominees, right? So let me go ahead and switch over to this, and I'll let the chats build up a little bit. Before I do that, let me check Rumble for 1 second. Raffles78 says, I know I am Cap Strong. All right, so let's head over then to my window. So here is the sample ballot, right? So I've got 67 responses. So again, thank y'all for the couple people that have filled it out and submitted since we have been live. And again, it will be cut off tomorrow evening, somewhere between 8 and 10 p.m. So try not to wait until the last minute. So you have, again, best movie of the year. And if you want to fill it out, you then would enter into... Sorry, this is not the ballot. This is the ballot. So this is what you would see if you were to click on it, right? So if you want to have the email... first off, you do not have to be signed into an email address to fill this out, all right? If you do, it will save your progress and you can edit it after the fact. So that is something that is completely your choice, but you do not have to enter an email address in order to fill this out. As you can see, it is not shared. I do not get your email address. It's not one of those things. So you just go down, right, and say best movie 2022. It's like, okay, what do you think is the best movie of 2022? And I'll go ahead and fill out a couple of these categories. So I actually fill it out. This is my Letterboxd account. So if you have a Letterboxd and want to follow me over there, letterboxd.com/OMB Reviews. So this is the the films I saw and where I put them. So let me go ahead and just go with the top rated ones I have. So The Outfit, really, really good film. I really like it a lot. I don't know if necessarily it's up there with like favorite of the year. Same thing with Father Stew. Everything All at Once is definitely up there for me as one of my favorites that came out this past year or last year. Top Gun Maverick has been at the top of my list for a very, very long time, but so has What is a Woman? Again, I think that film is truly one of the most important films ever made, especially the last 10 years. Bullet Train, also fantastic movie, as you all know. I'm a big, big fan of it. 13 Lives is a film that I think not a lot of people saw and they really should have seen. Banshees of Inisherin as well, a movie that the second time over, really, really enjoyed it a lot. And more recently, The Menu, fantastic movie, and Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, also just freaking phenomenal. But for this category, I think that I'm going to have to go Top Gun Maverick because, and again, this doesn't mean that it's going to be my number one film of 2022. I still need to break down that list. But when I think about like what is my favorite movie of the year, even though I do know that this film is going to get a lot of love in other categories, I just, again, really was a big fan of it. All right, so the next one, this is the Kathleen Kennedy and Ryan Johnson Award for Excellence in Craft World Building. So this category was created, we actually, it was a brain trust. So years ago, before we started this, we were developing categories. And so we wanted to give a fun name to Worst Movie of the Year. And so this is what we came up with because obviously at the time, this was when a lot of us were being brought together because of The Last Jedi. And so we thought it was an appropriate name for the worst movie of the year. So as it says, this prestigious award is for those movies that truly sucked in every single way. So going back to my list, I go to some of the lower films. So Violent Night, I did not like, not a fan. Not the worst film of the year, though. Avatar: Way of Water, I hated this movie. Hated it. But also, I would have to say it's not a film that I would say is my least favorite. Woman King, pretty bad. That's definitely a contender. 13 the Musical, yes. Now, I only watched this movie because I saw the Broadway musical on Broadway, and it's a great musical. It has great music, and it is a really interesting story about just a kid turning 13 and entering into high school and what type of life journey that is. And when I saw that they had released this, I said, wait, they made a version of this? They made a live action rendition of this movie? What are you talking about? And it was atrocious. It was atrocious. I don't go out of my way to watch bad movies, but when I was watching this film, I wanted to turn it off like every 5 seconds. So that to me is a heavy contender. Just having to remember that I watched that movie was pretty bad. Morbius, yeah, I mean, it's Morbin time. Bad, awful. Fantastic Beasts, also just terrible. Ambulance, oh my goodness, the cinematography on Ambulance alone is worth just, calling out. Moonfall, not very good. Not the worst film of the year, but not very good. Jackass Forever, very bit disappointed. I liked some of the previous movies, but this one just, I don't know, it just felt very uninspired. All right, well, kind of going through that list. So Morbius is obviously up there as a contender. Obviously, also Jurassic World Dominion sucked. Let me try and think, though. 13 is definitely a top one on my list. And you all know that I definitely hate Avatar: Way of Water. But yeah, I'm gonna be fair here. 13 the Musical. That is my pick for worst film of the year. There are plenty of other films, right? There are plenty of other films that are definitely bad. But of the films I saw, that is a movie I just could not stand. All right, Lifetime Achievement Award, Most Overlooked Person. I included the previous winners, and it's interesting because some people included Keanu Reeves. It's like, you can't win this, and I guess maybe people don't recognize this. I included the previous winners because you can't win this one more than once. Once you've won, it's there. So, Stan Lee's won, Keanu Reeves has won, Kurt Russell has won, Willem Dafoe has won as well. This one's always a tougher one because I always feel like I need to go through and think about, okay, who are some people maybe who've passed away this year? Who are some people that, that I think don't get as much love and attention as I think that they should. And let me think back to the films that I watched this year. Let me think. Oh, man, because, again, there were some really good films. There were some really, really good films. And I think a lot of people get attention. Oh, okay, I got one. Because he is recognized somewhat, but I just don't think he's given a lot of attention these days. So I'm going to go with kind of maybe it's a left field one. I'm going to go with Ralph Fiennes. I think that dude is great. Ralph Fiennes, phenomenal in The Menu. Like, he makes that movie. And there's a lot of great performances in that film. But, yeah, Ralph Fiennes, I think, is definitely, again, an overlooked person for sure. Right? Because, again, there's other names that I see people put in there. And it's people who's like, okay, but I think I think the people sometimes that are mentioned, it's like, no, these are people who are recognized, who are loved. Like, for instance, if someone put, like, Betty White last year, it's like, well, everyone loves Betty White. Everyone knows, and talks about Betty White. But Ralph Fiennes, I think, just is definitely someone who gets overlooked. So that's going to be my choice there. Best story in film. All right, best story in film. I'm going to go... oh, wait a minute. Okay, let me think about this one. I love the way The Menu unfolds. I love the way that it's basically... For those that have not seen it, it breaks down by courses. So each course is the next like layer of the movie unfolding, and it's really, really clever. So I like that one. Banshees of Inisherin has also a really, really well done story as well. Bullet Train's fun. I wouldn't say it's the best story. It's not necessarily something all that original. Top Gun Maverick, again, great film, but it's again not too revolutionary of a story. Everything Ever All at Once is just a lot of fun. Really like that one a lot. Oh man, I think I'm stuck right now between Banshees and The Menu. So, best story in film. I'm gonna go with The Menu. That story really made that movie for me too. The way it unfolded, I thought it was very real. I thought it was just, again, a very, very well done film. All right, I'll do this category and then we'll go back into the chat and see what y'all's thoughts are. Best low budget movie of the year. Movies made for less than $30 million. Oh man. All right. So for this one, I'm actually going to switch back for a second because, as I said, I did start to look into some early results just to get an early idea of where some of the films were. And so I started filling out like a ballot just to get, again, for the films that had like overwhelmingly like 20 votes, it's like, okay, this film's going to be in no matter what. So I started to, formulate a, let's see. I started to formulate an early ballot. So let me see if I can find the ballot, because I started to also put, because this is the one that always gets me because of the amount of money each film cost. So let's see. Okay. All right. So I got that information now. And now I can go back here and now I can share this over with y'all. All right. So The Menu was a film that did not cost a whole lot of money. So that's a low budget film. That is definitely on the list. Everything Everywhere All at Once is also on that list. And I think I'm gonna show some. I think I'm gonna show some love for this one. So best low budget film. I think what they're able to do in this movie for the amount of money that they spent on it is just really, really impressive. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm put for best low budget film of the year. All right. So that's my initial ballot so far. and I'm sure that y'all have some thoughts about it. So let's dive into the chat. We over on Odyssey says AMC Theaters has Oreo popcorn. Are you going to give it a taste? That sounds new and it sounds delightful. So I very well might do that. Let's see, over on Rumble, no tags yet. Again, comment a question on any platform. Just put @O in the very beginning of your comment to let me know that you're trying to get my attention. All right, let's head back over to YouTube and see the last time. Let's see. Elizabeth Lyons says, Oscars have become complete left-wing circle jerk. Pardon my language. No, you're absolutely right, though, Elizabeth Lyons. Absolutely right. Rob D says, I watched the Oscars once, 2011. Terrible year overall for movies. Went when The Artist won, I knew the Oscars weren't for me. Well, I would actually say it's not a terrible year for the Oscars because I actually really did enjoy The Artist. I thought The Artist was really very creative and a lot of fun. Was it the best movie of the year? I don't remember what my favorite film of that year was, but yeah, actually, you know what? Let me see if I can. I did not go back. I did not go back that far. So I have a lot of reviews and stuff of the films that I watched in any given year, and it goes as far back as 2012. So I have not yet been able to get that far. Let's see. Hardwick says 2011 is my favorite year for movies. The Artist, Captain America, Haywire. Haywire was fantastic. So yeah, I'll definitely give credit there. First Captain America. I actually did not like the first Captain America all that much. First Thor. I actually really liked the first Thor. Tintin. I thought that was overrated. Warhorse. It was hard for me to get into that one. It was well made, but it was hard for me to get into that one. So it was a good year for movies, but not anything crazy. Jeremiah Fair says, you don't have to comment, but what do you think of... Yeah, so I mentioned that early in the stream. If you want to hear my full thoughts or more full thoughts on it, I did actually stream earlier today with the Salty Nerd podcast. And so that live stream is still available on their channel. So go check that out if you want my thoughts on it. Let's see. Hardwick says, I just remembered that Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol was also 2011. That was a good one for sure. That might actually that might be my favorite of the newer films. Elizabeth Lyons liked A Fire Night. I know a lot of people liked the movie. To me, it was just so on the nose, in your face. It just wasn't funny. Like, it was supposed to be funny, and all I saw were a bunch of people trying way too hard, both on screen and off screen with the writing, that I just thought, okay, all of this is predictable. None of this is actually all that funny. And I was left a lot to be desired. Not a lot of good. Justin Redshirt says, how lucky was I that I never saw any of these? Let's see. Laura says, Moonfall wasn't even a good bad movie. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Let's see. Dank Yulka says, do you think Avatar will beat Titanic? And with Titanic being re-released, could we see back-to-back race between? No, because again, I'm going to compare it with the adjusted for inflation amount. That's the only fair way to do an actual comparison of those two films. So no, I don't. Yes, please go see Banshees of Inisherin for sure. Definitely go see Banshees of Inisherin. It's fantastic. Jeremiah Fair says, should you vote for a movie you haven't seen like Bros, but I have to go with It's Morbid Time? See, I will not vote for films that I've not seen, right? Because there are films that I know are bad because of all the things that have been said about them. But when it comes to something like this, I'm only going to vote for the things that I've actually seen. And that's why I recognize that some people only see a couple of films a year. And so I give that option to put in, not applicable for this and for the other categories. Elizabeth Lyons says, I've been going back to watch older films. Untouchables, great movie. Dance with Wolves, Starman. I think a lot of people have. And even theaters have. Theaters have been putting out older films as well. Harvick says, Drive and Lincoln Lawyer were 2011 films too. Drive was great. Drive's a film that you need to see. For me, I needed to see it more than once. So Laura says, Fiennes is great in The English Patient. Never seen it, actually. Dan Crane, what's going on? Says, just got in from officiating wrestling tournament. Good to hear. Good to be here with friends. Well, hopefully the tournament went well, and hopefully everyone is safe. No one got hurt. Elizabeth Lyon says, he was scary in Schindler's List. Yes. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Serenity's like, you make me research. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's also why I gave a lot of time for people to be able to fill out their ballots. Let's see. Laura says, my favorite course in the menu was Tyler's Bowl. Yes, Laura. That's such a great part. Yes. As soon as that title came up on the screen too, I was like, oh, yes, now it's getting good. Matt R., I agree. Trust me. Banshees has a great story, and that's why I was very tempted to put that one. And who knows, right? For the ones that are nominated for best, I'm going to rewatch those again. If I have them and if I actually like them, because I do want to try and get a firm grasp on just how much staying power the films have, just how much I enjoyed any given film. Because there are so many. Yeah, you're right. The behind the scenes on the movie are really interesting, and actually I need to dive further into those behind the scenes now that I have the Blu-ray too. I forgot about Bullet Train altogether. Boo! It's so good. So good. Oh, yeah, Banshees absolutely is definitely a film that could definitely be going. My mind is going. Bruce, stop being old, says General Wingster. I thought when you had said that you meant like you found it to be forgettable, which, again, it's not original necessarily, but it's fun. Leslie Darkin! Leslie Darkin, what's going on? Welcome back. Harvey says, I predicted 2 years ago that they'd keep him in office until January 20th this year, so his replacement can serve less than... again, who knows what's going to happen with that? I think that if you want to read into those types of things, you could definitely see the wheels turning there. But at the same time, too, do they want to risk that type of turmoil, especially if he's not willing to concede anything? I think, especially when you're dealing with someone who clearly has mental decline, I don't know if they're going to be able to have it be as clean as they would like it to be, you know? Because if they end up having to like remove him from office using using one of the amendments, it just that would be really... I don't think they go that route personally. Could be wrong, but Master Gaming says Paramount Universal had the most successful year in 2022. Yeah, I mean, I will have to break down the numbers officially on that because I look at total cost, right, which includes the standard marketing, and then actual total return on investment. And it's usually interesting. I think I have up on the website. If you go to my website and So let me try and show y'all. So if you go to my website, box office tracking, if you click on this, it'll show you the active tracking chart. If you click on 2021, it'll actually bring up the charting that I did and broke down. So I'm going to do this for 2022 as well as that's loading up. So as you can see, I actually have it broken down by studio. So this was the actual total box office, and then I broke down each individual studio as well. So for instance, Warner Brothers, this was this was in 2021. Warner Brothers, when everything was taken into account, was an $888 million loss. Now, again, this was the box office as of the end of 2021, so some of these numbers may have changed. But these were the two biggest losers, were Warner Brothers and Disney, because Disney was about a $260 million loss there. 20th Century, right? This one's a tough one to say, right? How much of that is actually lost by Disney, because of the acquisition? But that one was also in the red. Lionsgate actually ended up being $89 million in the red as well. MGM, owned by Amazon, was $74 million. Open Road, $72 million. Paramount last year was a $59 million in the red. Universal, as you can see, had a ton of releases that year. Ended up being $26 million in the red. A24 didn't have a whole lot, $11 million in the red. And then Sony was the only film in the black in 2021. And it's because actually not just because of Spider-Man No Way Home, but also because of films like Venom 2. Like Venom 2, as bad as that film was, made $133 million in profit. And they only had two busts. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, and Ghostbusters Afterlife, as of the recording, as of that charting, actually was a financial loss. So, yeah. but they were the only studio in the black. So I'm going to do a similar breakdown for 2022 as well. But if you wanted to look at that and check that out, you can check that out on the website. As you can see, it takes a while, so that's why I'm Jordan Waster says, hitting the showers, good night. Good night to you. Yeah, we got about 11 minutes left, so I might fill out a couple more categories before calling it a night. Let's see. Your average Patriot nerd, what's going on? Jeremiah says, I'm sad Crappy Avatar beat No Way Home, but it did not beat it without China numbers yet. And again, but here's the thing, though. I will say, Jeremiah Fair, I would not be surprised if it does beat it. However, we do also, because those are so close together, there's a question about will inflation, turn the tide on that one. I don't know. Soul's asking, Anya Taylor-Joy still freaks me out. She's awesome. I love her. She's one of my favorite working actresses, just based on her capacity as an actress. Rob D, time to say, Warner Brothers definitely gets the Loss Leader Award for 2022. I honestly think they're betting against themselves at this point. DC is failing Harry Potter Wizard. Oh yeah, the two studios that were some of the biggest losers last year were Warner Brothers and Disney, and I would not be surprised if both are up there again. The only saving grace that Disney might have to not be the second or even third worst performing studio is the profits that they're getting from Avatar. But it depends again on who you believe. Do you believe the studio saying the film cost $400 to $460 million, or do you believe James Cameron, who said when the film was still at $1.5 billion, oh yeah, we're a few days away from breaking even? Depends on who you want to believe. My chart goes based off of what the studio says, but yeah, no one wants her as VP, that's for sure. Laura, you have a good evening. Thanks for being here. Kimberly G, I get it. Michael Madsden freaks me out, and John Malkovich. Yeah, Malkovich I can understand for sure. Mads Mikkelsen, someone says, freaks them out. Oh, for sure. I absolutely think that's a fair point. Oh man. All right, check in over on the other platforms. King Kane Rumsky says, best low budget movie of the year, Avatar 2. Oh yeah, sure. King Kane Rumsky. You troll. Yeah. It's like, maybe you should have a best big budget movie. It has to have cost over $200 million. And make people forced to have to vote positively for a Marvel Avatar or nope, not gonna happen. No, thank you. All right. So, let me go back. I'm going to vote for a couple more categories, and then we're going to read some last-minute comments and then head out. All right. Worst remake, reboot, sequel, prequel of the year. All remakes are essentially unnecessary, but this one is truly awful. So this one has expanded out, right? It used to be worst remake, but then there was always confusion over the nuance of remake over reboots, etc. So I decided just to have any film that is a remake, reboot, sequel, or prequel is included for this category. It opens it up quite a bit, right? So let me try and see what films we had that would have been a sequel or reboot. So Jackass Forever was not good. Definitely not fun. The Batman, I know some people like that film. I wasn't a big fan. Definitely not the worst though. So I'm going to pass that one. Ooh, okay. Fantastic Beast, that is on my radar. Fantastic Beast, that was a garbage movie. Doctor Strange, also garbage movie. Jurassic World Dominion, also pretty bad. Thor Love and Thunder, also pretty bad. Let's see. Prey, again, was a big surprise, actually, for me. It was not nearly as bad as it should have been. I'm trying to think of others that are either reboots or sequels, etc. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Black Panther was pretty bad, too. Oh, and Avatar. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, this is a tough one for me. I'm actually going to go Fantastic Beast on this one. I know some people are going to be like, I thought you would have gone Avatar on all these categories. But remember, I don't go out of my way to watch bad movies. But I do watch movies. And Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore only exist, and I firmly believe this, It only exists because she wanted to make officially canon that Dumbledore was gay. So I just, yeah. Avatar's bad, and the Marvel films are bad too, but man, Fantastic Beasts is just, ugh. Best pointless remake of the year. This one's easy. This one's very, very easy. Pinocchio, Del Toro. If you have not seen the Benicio del Toro version of Pinocchio, do yourself a favor and watch it. It is phenomenal. It is so, so good. This one's probably going to get my nomination for Best Animated Film too, because it's stop motion animation. It took them like, I forgot how many days they said, but let's just say it took them a long time to make the film. It looks great. It looks phenomenal, and it's to the more traditional story. Kudos go to some of the best voice acting in that movie is Christoph Waltz as one of the bad guys. Oh, so good. Most underrated film of the year. Let me, I'll probably end with underrated and overrated before wrapping up the chat. So let's see. Most underrated, overrated. So this one's always a tricky one, right? Because to me, you can justify an overrated film if you feel like critics are giving it a high rating, or if you feel like audiences are giving it a high rating. So let's see. I think Avatar is overrated because, again, the audience ratings for that movie is way too high for what it is. So that one's pretty up there. Obviously, there's a ton of these that critics gave higher scores to. Like, again, I think Black Panther. Woman King. Oh, that one's up there. Oh, no. Woman King versus Avatar for most overrated movie of the year. I think that might actually have to be on that list for me. Trying to think about other films that actually were really overrated. Oh, yeah. Those are really the two. Those are really the two that I think are overrated. So, oh my goodness. Woman King or Avatar? Okay, just because I know it's gonna I just know it's gonna trigger some people. I'm gonna go Avatar. And it's specifically because Jeremy overrated that film so much. So, screw you, Avatar. All right, and then most underrated film of the year. Again, for this one, it could be either that critics were not big fans of it or audiences just didn't go and watch it. I would say Weird, the Al Yankovic story. I think that's an underrated film. Banshees is getting its praise. So, again, I love Banshees and Inisherin, but it's definitely getting its praise. Oh, actually, no. I already know. This is a movie. Most of you probably have not seen this movie. And I would actually say watch it. Yes, it is a Ron Howard movie. But I think the drama and the way the film plays out is so effective. I didn't know much about the story. It's based off of a true story, but 13 Lives, absolutely, hands down. I think that is the most underrated film of this year. No doubt in my mind. So 13 Lives, again, highly recommended if you have not seen it. 13 Lives, definitely underrated film. And Avatar Way of Water, again, there's other films that could be on that list too. Some people are mentioning Glass Onion, and I actually did see that movie, unfortunately. I don't know why it wasn't showing up, or maybe it was in the rating. That movie also is incredibly overrated. But yeah, again, overrated. Avatar to me is getting so... Let's just be honest here. Avatar is getting so many more people to saying things about it. That's why it's... And here's the other thing too, right? I have room for most critically... Oh, actually, you know what? Because you are all here, yeah, most critically acclaimed piece of garbage film. I'm going to put Glass Onion there because that film got so much praise. Shill of the year. I'm putting Jeremy, people. I'm putting Jeremy. Avatar. For his take on Avatar. He's getting my nomination there. All right, I'm gonna Okay, now I'm going to end it there. But anyway, that is the way you fill out the ballot, right? So you just go by the categories. Some of them are easier than others, right? But I know Forever Sci-Fi is happy with that last one. But yeah, if you have not yet submitted your nomination, please go ahead and do so. Again, you have until tomorrow evening to be able to do that. Again, check out the pinned comment if you want to have access to that. Also, that trigger should cause Heimdall to post the link. There it is. So again, submit your nominations. They will be closed tomorrow evening. So please do make sure that you get your votes in as soon as you possibly can. Also, please do make sure that you are paying attention to Tuesday, because Tuesday's show, Tuesday's live stream, we will announce the official nominations for this year's Wednesday Raven Awards, and probably, that will be the crux of the show. We'll probably talk about some other things as well, but let me just see some last comments here. King Rumsky over on Rumble said, will you ever incorporate streaming with your movie awards? For example, worst remake could be The Rings of Power or Willow. So again, that's TV. So streaming shows that's TV. So I won't incorporate it into the Ravens, because Ravens are movie specific, and this already takes enough time and mental energy for me. And since they're not too far away from each other as far as time of year, I don't think I could mentally handle it at this point in time, personally. So no, that I don't plan on doing that. But I do support people who want to create something similar, for sure. All right, let's get to the last comments here on YouTube. I don't see any tags over on Odyssey. So again, much love to the Rumble and Odyssey fam. Jeremiah Ferris says, the Fast 10 trailers coming before the Super Bowl, I think the movie will be hot trash. I mean, if it's similar to any of the other things that we've gotten from them recently, yes, I would agree with that. Crisco says, Pinocchio Disney Plus for worst remake. Didn't watch it. I don't want to see it. So you very well could be right, but I haven't seen it, so I can't vote for that one. I can vote for the ones that I have seen, though. Your Average Picture Nerd says the Batman was a 7 for me. Jeremy Ferris says, I think you overhate Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I liked it. It wasn't amazing, but I thought it was good. Overhate? No. I hate it just the amount that it deserves to be, because it's not good. So Random Gamer says, I forgot Fantastic Beasts even happened. I voted Jurassic World. Hey, that's a good one to choose, though. That's a fair assessment. Fair Sci-Fi, the Hogwarts game will do really well, though. That should help the franchise. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a PS5, but I have a Wii, and my wife is a huge Harry Potter fan. She knows nothing about this controversy, but she knows enough about the game to say, oh yeah, that actually might be something that I want to play. Jeremiah Fair says, I wish I could vote She-Hulk in every bad category for horrible writing. And again, if we were doing TV, that would be the case, but yeah. Great Widow says, is 13 Lives the sequel to 13 the Musical? No, it is not. It is definitely not. No association, and thank goodness for that. Thank goodness. Some people thought the choices were good. Again, Forever Sci-Fi is happy about the Jeremy nod there. Kimberly just says, I'll vote for Jeremy. Boom. I think Jeremy, Forever Sci-Fi, I think that your lobbying might actually result in Jeremy being nominated. However, I haven't decided how, because he's actually been nominated for a couple of different reasons, so I don't know if I'm going to count those as being equal, or if it's only going to be for a specific thing. I don't know. We'll have to see. Again, a lot can happen between now and tomorrow. Harvick says, I think you might gain a new appreciation for Captain America if you watch The Rocketeer. I know I need to watch The Rocketeer, man, but come on, brother. Jeremiah Ferris just voted for Jeremy. My campaign is working, says Forever Sci-Fi. Oh, man. We'll see. We shall see. Oh, my goodness gracious. But anyway, thank you, everyone. So for those that have voted, thank you. It really does, again, mean a lot. And again, if you want to vote, please check out my social media. You can find the link there. Rumble doesn't let me post links that are hyperlinks for some reason, so that's why I will not post it there. But if you are over on, actually, I'll still try and post it, but I can't guarantee that's going to show up correctly there. So again, if you just copy the link on Rumble and paste it over, you should be able to get there. But it's also on my social media platforms as well. If you're on Odyssey, it should create a hyperlink. So again, submit your nominations. Click on that. As I said, it does not collect emails. You do not have to have an email or be signed into it at all for anything like that. Yeah, Rob D says Jeremy's going to take it for the 2023 awards for Mario movie. Yes. So some people, I think, already preemptively nominated him for his Mario take. And so, yeah, I think that definitely could be the case there. Yeah, Northman, I know, is probably going to get a lot of love there. Hardwick says, I nominated Jurassic World Dominion for Johnson Kennedy World Bidding. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's well deserving of Worst Film of the Year. Again, most of the films that are getting nominated, I think, are deserving. It's just ultimately comes down to, like, what is the breaking point for you, right? So anyway, with all that being said, thank you all so very much for being. Still don't know how Eternals won critically acclaimed garbage last year. No critics liked it. Yeah, well, again, Rob D, that is ultimately, though, why this process, this part of the process, is so important, right? The fact that it got nominated, the fact that people voted for it, and I did have an abstain option too, right? So I think that people voted for it simply because they knew enough about the film or disliked the film enough to want to vote for it. Whereas the other films that did get nominated that probably deserved it more, as far as just the actual category is concerned, may have done it a little bit better. But again, I can only do so much. I try to let the will of the people go as far as I possibly can. Big Worm says family went to see Plane and loved it. Might be all Jeremy in that category, just different movies, says Forever Sci-Fi. I don't think it'll be that much because there are definitely a lot of other people who are going to be, again, Campia is for sure going to get nominated. I'm confident of it because every year it happens. Grace Randolph is usually the same too. But yeah, anyway, so please make sure you vote and make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Have the bell notification on that way you know every time a video or live stream goes on the channel. I can't ever say that fast. I always like saying it fast, but I can't ever always get it out of my mouth quick enough. Anyway, so on Tuesday evening for our Tuesday for our Welcome to Asgard podcast, it will be releasing the nominations. So the Oscar nominations, those are getting released in the morning. Patooey, I spit at you, Oscars. There are probably going to be some good films that get recognized, but the Oscars mean so little that it doesn't even matter anymore. So please make sure that you stay tuned Tuesday evening as we will announce officially what the nominations are. We can talk about them. We can debate over whether they should have gotten nominated or not, whether people understood the categories or not. But again, this is why y'all's vote, y'all's nominations truly matter. So again, if you want to make sure that the best and worst of 2022 gets in there, the only way that you can secure that is by voting or by doing what Forever Sci-Fi is doing, which is campaigning and lobbying for votes in certain categories. So anyway, with all that being said, thank you all so very much for being here this evening. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Saturday, a blessed Epiphany season, and a blessed feast of St. Agnes, and of course tomorrow, another Sunday in the time after Epiphany as well. So you guys are great. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. I love you all. Shout out to Orange Hat Reviews, the newest mod on the channel. Shout out as well to Laura, the Modern Major General. Thank you for modding earlier. And again, shout out to Tina, continuing to pray for her and her recovery. And also Stephanie B, shout out to you, because even though you can't mod anymore, we of course still love you, and you're always welcome to jump in the chat if you ever can. Much love to all the members on the channel. Much love to those who donated tonight as well. It really does help. Means a lot. Allows me to justify the time that I spend on some of the extra things outside of both the streaming and also outside of it as well. Anyway, you guys are great. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and hopefully see you all Tuesday. Get those nominations in. And as always, God bless.
And now for a huge shout out to all of my January Patreon Subscribe Star and Locals members at the Keeper of the Bifrost level and above. Starting off with my Patreon members, Father Luca Illich, Garrett Searles, Heimir Ari Hymason, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Orange Chat Reviews, who you can check out on his YouTube channel, Orange Chat Reviews, Rosetta Allen, who you can check out at her YouTube channel, Eagle Writer, and Miss Martin Muses, who you can check out at her YouTube channel, Miss Martin Muses, and of course, the amazing Empress of the Universe, Tina B, who you can check out over on her YouTube channel, Tina B, with her show Soup to Nuts, which she does, tries to do every single week with her friend and with fellow Valkyrie and fellow mod of the channel, Stephanie B.
And also a special shout out to the Modern Major General of the channel, Laura Story. Thank you again for joining.
And of course, I do want to give a special shout out to Tina B and make sure that everyone knows that our prayers are being extended towards her as she continues to recover from complications that have occurred recently with her medically and has resulted in a loss of eyesight, or at the very least of more clear eyesight. So to continue to offer our prayers for her. Also a shout out to my subscribe star peeps, Matt317, who can check out on his Twitch channel by the same name, The R, Fast Reaction, Mr. Roy, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and the K-Man, who you can check out over at xtheboundaries.co. And lastly, to my locals members, Miss Minnesota Hockey Fan, How About a Hockey Player, J.H. Schwalbach, Brett D90, and the amazing lawyer Robert Barnes. So thank you all very much for supporting me on Local, Subscribestar, and Patreon. If you want your name shouted out at the end of every live stream and video, please check out the top link in the video description below, where you get access to this, and also, of course, to a monthly podcast that I do with John the Flick Flickinger. Also, access to a giveaways channel on my Discord, where I give away films. This month, I've got films like Seven Samurai on Blu-ray from the Criterion Collection to give away, The Banshees of Inisherin, Tommy Boy Steelbook, Edge of Tomorrow 4K, and tons of other 4Ks and Steelbooks as they get released over the next month will be available, and also, of course, digital codes as well. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, check out that top link and join over on Patreon, Subscribestar, or on Locals. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, God bless.